What's up, guys? Alex here, and today I bring you my player analysis of all the guys in the EGL. This is something sort of fun that I wanted to do, just to like pass the time. We're currently in week 9 or 10 of the EGL right now, and things are starting to close out in the season. I just wanted to like give you my thoughts on on all the players, on their teams, and how they play. So let's get right into it. So the members in this league are Josh, Shark, Jonathan, Andrew, Brendan, Steven, James, DIYAB, Ryan, Sam, ESTEW, and me. I'm gonna break down like standings and all that stuff in a bit. So we're just gonna get right into my analysis on Josh and his team and all of his and like his play styles and stuff. All right, so I think Josh has a really cool team. I think that he drafted pretty well. I don't think he drafted what I would consider standard Pokemon, especially the Mega Medicham first pick out of him, because he probably could have gotten that as his third pick in OU. But his team consists of Mega Medicham, Superior, Heatran, Milotic, Heracross, Crocodile, Magneton, Jellicent, Drapion, Sandslash, Cryogonal, and Carbink. Now, Josh actually founded this league. That's how everybody joined by contacting him, and I'm really grateful for that, because I've had a lot of fun in this league. So thank you for that, Josh. And let's get right into the description. So one thing that I really like about Josh as a player is that he gets really creative with his sets. And he brings really, I would say, not standard sets at all. Although he does have a lot of one-dimensional Pokemon, in my opinion. Mega Medicham, there's not much you can do with it. I mean, it does what it does very well. That's as a wall breaker. Superior, in my opinion, it's still pretty one-dimensional. It doesn't get a vast move pool. But he's found ways to make it really creative. He uses like the sub glare sets, sub leech seed sets, and those actually work out really well for him. He's used Heatran to pretty good success. I like his Milotic pick. I think he picked overall. His team sort of just goes together, but at the same time, I don't think he picked the strongest Pokemon for each spot where he drafted. He uses a lot of, I mean, Mega Medicham's not a Pokemon you normally see in league play. So he does use a lot of unconventional Pokemon, especially if you just look at his team. He's currently in 10th place in the EGL, but that's not that doesn't really indicate anything, considering that he's actually played really well. But it's just some things that I've noticed that he does that aren't the best. He does sometimes overpredict. There are times where he could just click the safest play, and that normally works out. But he tries to make plays that sometimes aren't necessary and sometimes don't really fit the situation. And he did have a very unconventional draft. I mean, I think he drafted pretty well in UU and in RU, but his OU picks are not like super fantastic, and his NU picks, they have almost no use in this format. So we're gonna go on to the next guy. It's Shark of the Sommernville Sharpedos. Shark's currently in 2nd place in the league. I'm pretty friendly with Shark. We do a lot of team building together. We also we always like ladder up on like the OU ladder and stuff. He's got Mega Charizard X, Azumarill, Celebi, Salamence, Cobalion, Azelf, Sneasel, Golbat, Gastrodon, Garbodor, Lantern, and Liepard. Now, obviously, Shark is having a really successful season. He's beaten a lot of the best players, and Steven and Ryan, I know that he beat both of them, and he's he's really played well this year, and I think that's can be attributed to both his really good draft and also his ability to make plays. I mean, obviously, if you look at his OU core, it's incredible, and his RU picks are also really, really good. And he has a lot of utility in his NU picks. Going into that, he uses Sneasel, Golbat, and Gastron all the time, and he uses them really well. I know Gastron was on the leaderboards for kills a while ago, and his Golbat stalls out everything, and his Sneasel, he used that to kill a Weavile by scarfing it. He's really creative with those sets. And yeah, he's really good at predicting. He's probably one of the best at it. I think that that when it comes down to making plays, he normally makes them like 95% of the time. Just some things that I think he struggles with, and this isn't necessarily the most important thing, but sometimes when he goes into battles, he talks about how he's like not ready to battle when his team is as good as it's gonna get. He puts a lot of work into his teams, so he should have confidence in them that he'll do well. And then another thing is he likes to bring the same Pokemon a lot. When you play him using this particular team, you can expect Charizard, Azumarill, Celebi. Most likely, either probably 2 of the 3 for Sneasel, Golbat, and Gastron, and then either, for the most part, Salamence or Azelf. But besides that, he's a great battler. A lot of props to him for the season he's having this year. So next we have Jonathan of the Vancouver VIBRAVAS. Now Jonathan, he's probably got the best OU like offensive picks. He got Kieran Black, which is just a monster, destroys everything. Landorus T and Victini for his OU picks. Suicune, Whimsicott, and Mega Ampharos for his UU. Scrafty, Togetic, and Durant for RU, and Torkoal, Weezing, and Rotom for NU. Now, his offensive core is ridiculous in Kyurem, Landorus, and Victini. He's got basically all of the best offensive typings in Ice, Fire, and Ground as Stab, and they all hit ridiculously hard. Another thing that he's really good at is he's really good at setting up sweeps. Kieran Black currently leads the league in kills and kill death ratio. It's like plus 11. What is it? Plus 11 differential right now, or something like that. So it's he definitely knows how to set up that Kieran Black sweep. And he's had other sweeps with other Pokemon like Victini. One thing that I found is that it doesn't really matter who he's going up against. He'll always give a really good effort, and he'll always make it a really close game. And it's usually a 50-50 against anyone that he plays. Now, I don't think that he had the greatest lower tier picks, as in RU and NU. I like his picks, but I don't think that they're the best that he could have drafted. I like Scrafty. I think it's really good. But Togetic and Durant are alright. Torkoal's actually good, but Weezing and Rotom haven't been doing that much. And another thing that I think that he could work on next season, or I don't think he's actually going to be here next season, but in future seasons, are his use of Mega, because this season he had Mega Ampharos, and it has done like nothing. Because he doesn't really need the extra Dragon type when you have Kieran Black just destroying everything. So I think that that's something that he could work on in future seasons, where using or picking a better Mega Pokemon and using it to better success. But yeah, Jonathan's a fantastic battler. I had a really close match with him that ended up in my favor, but it could have been either way. So yeah, we're going to the next guy. So Andrew, for the Detroit LINOONES, he picked an awesome team. I really like it. He picked rain, which is probably my second favorite weather. So his team consists of Mega Scizor, Politoed, and Latios for OU, Kingdra, Nidoking, and Gudra for UU, Quillfish, Flygon, Granbull for RU, Ludicolo, Musharna, and Hariyama for NU. I think that when he first drafted the team, it was more rain oriented. I like what he did, that he got rid of a lot of the rain, and he went for more of a pseudo rain type team. That being said, he has like four dragon types on his team, and that's just not good to have. The variation on his team is not that great. But what I'll say is, it takes a lot of guts to draft a full weather team, and I think that just tells you what type of player Andrew is. He's gonna do what he thinks will catch his opponent off guard and will give him the best chance to win. He's a really good team builder. He has his own YouTube channel. He always posts his team builds, and he's excellent at it. He always has like the best possible sets that he could put, and he's really smart about what he needs in EVs as well as what moves he needs. Another thing is, he's really innovative with his sets. I remember the Gudra set that he had, with like, I think I had Gastro Acid or something like that. It had one of those moves that boosts your defense to the point where Gudra was just impossible to take down. It put in a good amount of work. I will say that Andrew has probably some of the worst luck in the league, and the fact that he did get he was facing Jirachi, and Jirachi just flinched that thing to death. But some things that he definitely has trouble with is making predictions. He's very talented as a battler, he really is, but there were times where he could easily be making the best, like, he doesn't normally pick the best move sometimes, and I think that's just him thinking about it, maybe underestimating his opponents a little bit. But I think that once he really gets to be making those predictions, he'll probably be one of the better battlers in the league. He also, even though he picked rain, he's had very little success with it. I think that people have found a way to, it's sort of predictable, where to the point where people have found a way to counter rain, which is why I think it was good that he changed up his team a little bit. But yeah, he has not had the most success this season. He's sitting in 9th place as of right now. But I would definitely keep an eye on him, because I think he's gonna emerge as one of the better battlers in this league. Alright, so next we have Brendon. Very recently I just got completely destroyed by Brendon in one of our league matches. Brendon's an awesome battler. He's a really funny guy. He's really good at Pokemon. His team consists of Tornadus T, Mega Manectric, Excadrill, Kyurem, Hoopasi, Cresselia, Aromatisse, Typhlosion, Clawitzer, Hippopotas, Regirock, and Vileplume. Now, like I was talking about, he's a super creative player. He brings the craziest sets. He swept me with a Sandrush Choice Band Excadrill that I had no answers to. He definitely has a lot of really good ideas with the Pokemon that he drafted. He has that Pseudo Sand and Hippopotas and Excadrill, and I think Sand is the best weather for this format, because it doesn't really take up a whole team. He has a Volt Turn Core and Tornadus and Mega Manectric, which allows him to basically get residual damages or rack up on his opponents, and he has a lot of momentum. One thing that could be taken either way as good or bad is that he doesn't have a coherent direction for his team. As in, he started off with that Volt Turn Core, and what I would have suggested for him to do is pick a bunch of really bulky Pokemon, or more Pokemon that can use U-Turn and Volt Switch, and just build around that. Instead, he in UU picked just like these high base stat like legends, which are good, but they don't really fit his team very well. He also could have went more for that sand strategy and picked something like, instead of Hippopotas, he could have picked Hippowdon, which I think would have been a really good idea. I do think that he picked pretty well based on his lower tier picks. Maybe not Regirock and Vileplume, but I think he picked pretty well. And one other thing that he struggles with is he easily goes on tilt. There are times where hacks will happen to him, because he's also a pretty unlucky player. Hacks will happen to him, and that he'll just like stop really making the best move. He'll start going for like not even like desperate plays, but like the worst possible play. And it doesn't happen often. Like, he's a really good battler. He's currently in 6th place, and he has a very good chance of making the playoffs. But there are times where if you can set up and you start racking up damage and KOs on him, he can go on tilt pretty easily. So now we have Steven of the Dundee DARKRAIS. Steven was like unstoppable last season, and he picked a really, really good team. As I said in my first bullet point, he's an amazing drafter. If you just look at his team, you can just tell. The only pick that I wouldn't agree with is Zebstrika, but other than that, he picked a ridiculously strong team. He picked Clefable, Talonflame, Megalopony, Empoleon, Reuniclus, Dragalge, Tangrowth, Tyrantrum, Uxie, Quagsire, Skuntank, and Zebstrika. Now, interesting things are he picked Clefable and Reuniclus, 2 of the what do they have? They have Magic Guard. He also has Clefable and Quagsire, which have Unaware to stop sweeps. He also has something like Tangrowth, which is Regenerator. All these like amazing abilities on his team. Talonflame with Gale Wings, Megalopony with Scrappy. So he's got just an awesome team and a really well built team. He's currently sitting in 5th place, and it's super diverse, as I was talking about. It really is. He covers basically all the like the main stab moves that you need. The only thing and he's like the best at setting up the sweep. He'll find a way to just break all of his opponent's Pokemon down to the point where one Pokemon could just clean up. That's what he's been doing a lot this year with Talonflame. He's also really good at that with Clefable, and for season one with Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum is currently like 0-3, I think, in games, but season 1 it was like, I think it was 20 something and 1 death. One thing I'll say is he's got a really passive team. If you look at it, there are maybe 3 or 4 like real offensive threats, like right out of the get-go. A lot of his Pokemon can set up, which makes them like offensive threats, but initially it's a really passive team. And also, besides Lopunny and Talonflame, his team is super slow. I'm surprised we haven't really seen too much Trick Room considering his Reuniclus, but that's definitely something that he should consider, because he's I mean, Steven is probably, in my opinion, easily a top 3 battler in this league, maybe even the best. He's currently not doing as good as he did last year, but I think that he's still probably one of the best in the league. So now we're on to James of the New England, and his team is the New England Braviaries. His team consists of Mega Garchomp, Sylveon, Bisharp, Infernape, Mandibuzz, Feraligatr, Amoonguss, Meloetta, Almastar, Electivire, Mawile, and Mismagius. Now, he picked a really, really nice team. I think that things that he missed out on are real, like, I know Mandibuzz is super defensive and so is Amoonguss, but he doesn't have a lot of Pokemon that take hits. But overall, he picked well in every single tier. He didn't pick a single Pokemon that I would completely disagree with. The only two Pokemon that I don't like on his team are Omastar and Mawile. They're not even that bad. But as I said, his lower tier picks are awesome. Like, he picked really well just overall. And one thing that I'll say about James is that he brings really like unique and like refreshing sets every single week. Like, he never brings the same Pokemon. He'll always switch it up. He'll always have cool movesets that he tries out, and normally they work really well. And he's got Mega Garchomp, which is awesome. He's used some really interesting sets with it. Sometimes he does make a bad play in an important part of the game. That happened recently this week, where he decided to go into his Infernape instead of his Sylveon, when it was Infernape and Sylveon versus Charizard X against Shark's team, and he went to his Infernape, which got KO'd by Shark's Charizard, where he could have went into Sylveon and made the Charizard go down to Flare Blitz recoil. So like that's like a really critical moment in that game. You have to make the right play, or your opponent takes it, and he did make the wrong play that time. But that's not all the time, and he's definitely a very competent battler. And I love that he's using Mega Garchomp. It's not really explored in this type of meta. It's I mean, he's using it really well. There are some really interesting sets that you can use with it, and I think that it's actually one of the better mechas in my opinion. So next we have DIYAB, and his team is the Connecticut CONKELDURRS. He is an awesome team. I really like his team, and he's been playing really well recently, so I'm really scared because I play him the final week of the season. He's got Manaphy, Ferrothorn, Conkeldurr, Mega Swampert, Hydreigon, Doublade, Jolteon, Braviary, Excelgor, Tauros, Vanilluxe, and Muck. Now, what I love about his team is that he has that pseudo rain going on with Manaphy, Ferrothorn, Swampert, Doublade. All of those Pokemon run very, very well under rain. But he also has the Pokemon that don't really need rain, or actually all of his Pokemon don't need rain to do well. Hydreigon is really good. It definitely is. It has awesome offensive typing. He picked really good support Pokemon in Ferrothorn and Excelgor. Ferrothorn, obviously one of the best support Pokemon in the game, and Excelgor getting spikes as well as stuff like Final Gambit makes it really, really good. And one thing that you always find when watching his games is that he puts himself in that position to win. He doesn't just like make plays to try to get kills. He puts his himself in the point where he can sweep with his Swampert or his Manaphy, and it happens a lot. His Manaphy just got a 6-0 sweep this week, and that was really interesting. His one thing that I'll say is his team lacks a lot of important type coverage. Fire type moves basically non-existent on his team. He has Vanilluxe, but that's not viable, so there's no real viable ice type moves. Just a lot of really important offensive typing that he's missing. And his NU picks are not really that great. I don't think he's brought any of them to any of his matches, and for good reason. None of them are like viable at all. But he's having an amazing season this year. I'm pretty sure he's in 4th place, so he's definitely making a run for the playoffs. So next we have Ryan, the former champion of the EGL. Ryan is a great battler. I love watching him battle because he always seems to like just know what he's doing, and he always seems like he's comfortable in any situation. So his team consists of Megalodios, Keldeo, Skarmory, Porygon Z, Shaman, Rotom Heat, Electros, Spiritomb, Dugtrio, Salk, Leavanny, and Cradily. Now, as I said, he always seems like he knows how he's going to win this game, like a match. He always has that one Pokemon that he picks out, or one strategy that he picks out, that just guarantees him that win. And he's currently sitting in, I think, 3rd place. He adapts well to a situation. Like, if something doesn't go according to like his quote unquote plan, then he'll have a new plan. He'll always have a way to win his match. He uses his sweepers and support Pokemon really well. He doesn't have a lot of sweepers, but Porygon Z and MILOTICS really put in a lot of work for his team. I will say that he doesn't have a lot of offensive threats. His real offensive threats being Latias, Keldeo, Porygon Z, and like Sawk maybe, because none of his other Pokemon, even though they have high base attack stats, they don't really like. He doesn't use them to that, and they're not huge threats because there are a lot of answers to the other Pokemon that he has. And he has a lot of type redundancy on his team. I think he has 3 grass types. He's got 2 electric types, and they all sort of perform the same. They don't perform the same role, well, but like his electric types do for the most part. Rotomede and Electros, Leaveney and Credilli and Shaman all perform different roles, but you can't put them all on the same team really. So that doesn't normally work out for him. Well, it does because he's a fantastic battler, but it's something that he should probably think about next draft. Trying to give more, just more more variation. I guess that's the best way to say it. So now we're on to Sam of the Oxford Octilleries. Sam is not having the best year. He's currently in last, but I don't think that's really to his fault. He's been getting sort of unlucky. He gets really close matches almost every week. It's always like a 1-0 for his opponent. I think he currently only has like 1 win, but it really doesn't indicate how well he's actually been playing, because he's been keeping up with everybody. His team consists of Raikou, Gengar, Mega Gyarados, Chandelure, Crobat, Mamoswine, Escavalier, Virizion, Druddigon, Miltank, Archeops, and Kabutops. Every single Pokemon on his team is an offensive threat. You see, he doesn't have any of those walls that take hits, except Miltank, and he's used Miltank amazingly. All of his Pokemon are definitely viable to use in any match. Like, all of his Pokemon take hits, they all dish out hits back. But he doesn't have those walls. He has Pokemon that like will take maybe 1 or 2 hits. But he's been doing really well with his team. Honestly, all of his Pokemon are really he uses them all to really good success. And I think he's doing really well considering that he wasn't able to be at the live draft. He gave people his list of Pokemon that he was thinking about, but if he saw how the other teams were forming, he definitely would have had a better overall team. There are a lot of shared weaknesses on his team. I know that Fighting type really does a number against him, even though he does have 2 Ghost types. But yeah, Fighting type does a lot. Ground type, he doesn't really have many resists to ground. And he's another team that doesn't have that clear strategy on what he's trying to do with his team, which I think can be just attributed to the fact that he wasn't here when he drafted his team. So next we have ESTEW, and his team is the Virginia Venusaurs. He actually joined the season late because one of the players dropped out. So he was stuck with this team. He still has a good team in Mega Altaria, Jirachi, Weavile, Zapdos, Arcanine, Nidoqueen, Hitmontop, Trevenant, Smeargle, Mantine, Rhydon, and Haunter. But that being said, he really didn't get to craft a team that he's most comfortable with. I know that he said he doesn't really like Mega Altaria, but I know that he really likes Jirachi and Weavile. He's also one of the more creative players in the league. He has awesome sets with his Pokemon like Mantine. He used Haze, I think. He had Trevenant with Yachi Berry to take on ice types. So he's very creative, and he uses a lot of his Pokemon to their best potential. He uses Weavile really well. I think it's one of the top. It's on the leaderboard for kills. He uses Jirachi to, even though it's I wouldn't say scummy, but it's like it's the Pokemon that is. Jirachi is for hacks, and he uses that really well. I think sometimes he gets overwhelmed by his opponent's team. If he's facing a really good opponent, he may not be fully ready to take them on, and he might feel like he might not feel like he's ready to really beat them. Like his team might not be the best for that matchup, but normally it is. He's a really good team builder, so I think that if he gets confidence in that, he'll do way better. And there are times where he doesn't make a correct prediction, where he'll maybe try to make a play, and he does make a play, but it's either like too early that he makes that type of play. He also likes to set up really early, like Swords Dance Weavile. He does a lot. Dragon Dance Mega Altaria. But either way, he's still a really good battler, especially considering everything that he's going through, like with the team. Like I bet that if he picked his team, he would be way more comfortable, and I bet that he would be in the middle of the pack, even though he's currently he's behind. But in this league, it's so like balanced that being in 11th place, which he is like it's like 2 or 3 games back from 2nd place. So it's not even like a huge jump to make the playoffs and to be a top team. So next we have me. I didn't really want to put myself in this, but I asked Shark, and he said that he would write my player description for me. My team is Mega Venusaur, Starmie, Tyranitar, Florges, Haxorus, Entei, Rhyperior, Slowking, Steelix, Dusknoir, Rotom, and Hitmonchan. Now, if you asked me, I would say my team is pretty good, but just from an outside opinion, Shark said that my team has pretty good type synergy overall, defensively and offensively. He said that I make predictions to get KOs when needed. He did say that my team does not have enough offensive presence, and that I use hacks and status a lot, mostly just with my Rotom. I use Thunder Wave and then Air Slash to get that like 60% flinch, and funny enough, I get it like 90% of the time. And he said that could be good or bad, because obviously I'm winning games using that, but also it could bite me in the butt. And then he said that I have pretty predictable sets. Normally I bring like the same sets every time, but they work. So I mean, I'm currently in first at 7-2, so they work. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's all. So just my final thoughts. Everybody in this league is a fantastic battler. Even though people are in last, I would not say that they're below average at all. Like Sam is definitely way above average. My game with him was a 1-0 in my favor, and he could have easily won that match. Everybody else is like right next to each other based on record. So yeah, everybody in this league is way above average, and everybody's just really good. And everything that I said in this is my opinion. It's not like truth. It's not fact. So if you're seeing or hearing me say some stuff that you don't agree with, you can tell me. I don't really care. But it's just my opinion. So if you think someone's team is better than I said it is, or if you think someone is a better battler than I said they were, that's your opinion. And I said my opinion. So thanks for watching, guys. I will probably be putting more league stuff out later. So bye.